Hey gang, happy snow day, and this is your midweek check-in. A couple of things. First of all, I posted a discussion post rubric. So that's an explanation. A rubric is an explanation of how I'm grading you on your discussion questions. There is some explanation of it on the syllabus, and as well as an explanation on due dates, but this has more of a breakdown, more of exactly what I'm looking for, and the main thing it specifies is that discussion posts show in-depth knowledge of either the reading or the lectures. So I do want to let you all know that my expectation is for everybody to have watched the lectures and done the reading before they engage in the discussion posts. Initial posts are due by Wednesday and responses are due by Friday. So if you have not done some of your initial posts, you have until tonight. Okay, and if you still owe your classmates some responses, you have until Friday. Friday is the day that we kind of finish up with the previous week and move on to the following week. I know it's been a little weird since week 1 is 2 weeks, but now we're moving on to week 2 and things are going to start going faster. So everything that you need to start week 2 will be posted by Friday, okay, or posted on Friday, I should say. And then the other thing that I also want everyone to do by Friday is to do the YouTube video signups. Again, I know that this is a new type of assignment for people, but remember that if all you do is videotape yourself as like I am talking and hold up, you can even hold up a fact sheet, right, to show people, then that's good enough. I'm grading you on your preparation, right? So does it seem like you have rehearsed versus your production value that you have bells and whistles and things like that. So keep that in mind, and please let me know if you need help with Screencast-O-Matic or with figuring out YouTube. All right, so the other thing is I've had some really great conversations with you all on the discussion boards already. There's some interesting conversations going on, I think, from a lot of the people who took the Goddess class about sort of matriarchal societies and speculations about that. I should point out it's really great at Front Range because actually women's studies is a very, very diverse field. And the Goddess class represents, I think, a very different aspect of feminism than women in social action. And I was trained very differently. Like I would never teach the Goddess class because I've been trained very differently in terms of my feminism. The Goddess class is really, at least in my impression, although I'm happy to be corrected by people who've taken the class, more along the lines of cultural feminism, which is the type of feminism that tries to seek out women's traditions and what is wonderful about women's ways of doing things, women's traditions that have been suppressed, and tries to revalue those things in society. But my tradition of feminism is more socialist feminism, and that doesn't necessarily mean socialism in the way that you think of it, right? When I say socialist feminism, it actually means that the focus is on, rather than finding something that women have in common and revaluing it, socialist feminists tend to look at the differences among women and think about that from the perspective of how can we all form alliances to work together as women also against poverty and racism and all of these other aspects of life in addition to gender that make women's experiences across the world very different. And one of the things that you'll think about in my class is what issues are pertinent to which women, right? We don't all have the same issues. And, in understanding how some women are affected by colonialism, as Dawn and I have started discussing, or how other women are affected by environmental degradation as well, and how sometimes the privilege of some women um, is actually built on the labor and the deprivation of others, which is one of our topics for next week in how we'll look at this idea of women's work. The other really interesting conversation that's come up is my conversation with Tasha um, about CEDAW, the Convention for the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women. I encourage you all to check it out. We've been talking a lot about the conflicts between the American legal system and what is enshrined in American law versus what is recommended by international law. And for those of you who haven't checked it out yet, the highlight is that the U.S. has not signed the UN's Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination for Women, which is a set of it's a document of international law that with which each country commits to gender equity. The U.S. has not made that commitment yet. And so we were talking about certain aspects of the U.S. system that might violate that, the reasons why people are hesitant to sign international law. One of the reasons is that it compromises U.S. sovereignty. Another reason is that U.S. women, a lot of people say that U.S. women already have all the legal protections that they need. Unfortunately, that's not borne out by reality. The proposed Equal Rights Amendment, which would give women equal rights under the Constitution, has still not passed, and you can check that out at equalrightsamendment.org. So in case anyone was wondering, you are not guaranteed equal rights under the Constitution, and discrimination against women receives medium level of scrutiny as opposed to things like religious or racial discrimination, which receives strict scrutiny. So we still have a long way to come in the U.S. legal system. But your best resource for this is also checking out the conversations that we're having. Follow the links that I'm putting up in response to other people's. This is really part of what we would be doing in class. As people ask questions, I would offer additional resources. So in addition to the lectures, you also want to check that out. As I said, very important to watch the lectures and do the readings before you start entering into the discussion post, because it really is building off of all of that foundation. I will, as we go into week 2, I will once again have the to-do list. All right, again, this is my way of pacing you and helping you plan, but it's something that I'm hoping everyone will learn to do for themselves in their own classes, especially once you get to 400 level courses. For those of you who are transferring, you need to do this time management stuff on your own, and it is more difficult in an online class where your job is to pace yourselves. So for next week, we are going to be reading 2 chapters from Global Woman, as well as a chapter from the textbooks. So we're picking it up, right? Remember, this is 7.5 weeks, and we have to cram in everything that would normally be in a full-length semester. So it's going to get pretty intense from here on out. And your lectures are on the activist tools, strikes, and consciousness raising. I have decided that I will do the domestic workers' rights teaching so that no one else has to go first. I will go first, and you guys can check it out from there. Okay, so keep up the great work. Look at the discussion post rubrics, and make sure that your discussion posts are also integrating the information from the lectures and from the readings. This is really my only opportunity to find out that you have been doing those things and for you to engage. All right, and if you have any questions, hit me up at the coffee shop, send me an email. I am available. I will also, if any of you are struggling with other classes, I'm in the Larimer Writing Center tomorrow at 9 a.m. and then again on Friday from 9:45 to 1. So anyone who has midterms, come see me. All right. Talk to you all later. Bye.